How's it going? Dave from Comic Book Investments. So in this video, we are going to do 5 keys that are dropping. Yes, dropping in price. I like to pick out 5 keys that I've noticed like overall in all grade ranges, they're going down. And I show you what they used to sell at and what they sell at now. So let's just jump into the 5 keys right away. All right, first we got up is Spawn number 9. Now, a 9.4, its previous peak was back in July for $95. Now it currently sells for $39, down 59%. A 9.6 back in August sold for $147. That's down $90 to $91. That's 38% drop. And then the 9.8 had a 40% drop from $275 back in May to $165 currently. And if you look at the graph up there, you can see it just kind of going down and down, kind of leveling off recently. But if you look at those light purples, the dark purple is the average, the light purples are like either the peaks or the lows. Now, I check to make sure, and some of those were up to like $400, but then I look through everything else and I see nothing even coming close. So I get rid of those. Usually those are like either fake or just an accident. And so then I go for something that seems a little more realistic, and that's how I got to this 275, because I saw one sell for 275, 270, 265. So I'm like, okay, 275 is a legit number. Yeah, so why is this dropping? Well, there was some speculation news on this comic, but I don't think it really panned out. Also, Spawn got a massive bump during the comic boom. And I don't just mean like key issues. I mean spawns across the board. Like any kind of minor key, anything. I did a video about how I talked about Spawn 265 and that 9.8 sold for like $2,500 or something like that across the board. Kind of like how Turtles, just everything Turtles that got across the board. It's kind of the nostalgia boom where people are like going back to what they collect. So if Spawn's coming out in the 90s, those people are probably into their 40s almost, or late 30s at least. All right, next up, we got X-Men 120. I know it says 121 on there, but it's actually 120. This is the first appearance of Alpha Flight. And a 7.0 back in June peaked at $180. Now it sells for $140. It's down 22%. And 8.5 is down 36% from $350 back in May to $223. And then a 9.4 back in July sold for $900. Now that sells for $445. That is down 51%. You can look up here at the graph and see it kind of like, tried to hang on, just keeps on going down, down, down. Why is this going down? Well, comic boom stuff, right? Everything, just almost everything, anything that was kind of a key just like shot up. And this is coming back down. I mean, Alpha Flight was a long ongoing series. There's nothing in the pipeline as far as news and like spec news, like TV or movies or anything like that. I don't see us having Alpha Flight anytime soon. But again, it is a good key because it did start the Alpha Flight, and then Alpha Flight had a series for a very, very, very long time. So I imagine this book is still going to go down a little bit more, but it'll level out and it'll go back up eventually. All right, next we got Warlock number 1. A 7.0 is down 43% from 175 back in July to 100. An 8.0 is down 52% from 270 in August to now selling for $130. And a 9.2 recently sold for $264, and its peak was back in March for $400, and that is down 34%. If you look at the graph up here, it doesn't look like it kind of looks all over the place and doesn't look like that much of a dip. But I looked across the board. They're all dropping in every pretty much grade range, and that's how they come on this list. Like, yeah, there's some that are just kind of up and down, and maybe some have like a little tick up, but overall, I look at everything, and everything's just kind of going down for this book. The reason why is because Adam Warlock has already been cast in Guardians 3, so there's been a lot of spec news before this, just hyping up the book, and then sometimes it's hyped up so much that it really can't sustain itself, right? You can't just be hyping up forever, because at some point, those people that bought those books way cheaper for like half the price that they're going for now, they're like, well, I better sell them and unload. And so, this puts out more in the market. Things go down. But this book will eventually go back up when we see Adam Warlock eventually in the MCU, which has already been cast. So it's going to happen. But like I said, it can't go up forever. And eventually it goes down, settles, the hype comes back, it goes up again. All right, next. We got Black Panther 2. This is the first appearance of Shuri. Now, a 9.4 back in August sold for $375, now sells for $260. That is down 31%. A 9.6 back in September sold for $800, now currently sits at $325. That is down 59%. And a 9.8 is down 46% from a high of $1,300 in July to now selling for $700. If you look at the graph up there, you can see kind of what happened in its life, going up, massive up, and then dropping right down. There's a tiny little uptick, but that is not common for the rest of the grades. So what's going on with this book? This has had an interesting turn of events. So unfortunately, Chadwick Boseman, who played Black Panther, he died in real life. And I don't want to say the character died, but so now what happens to the Black Panther? So they're thinking, okay, well, Shuri, I don't know the actress's name, will take over the mantle as Black Panther in the movie. So that was kind of like, oh my gosh. So everyone jumped on this train. It was like, okay, we got to get that. Just massive spike up. It's selling all over the place. But then it came out that rumors were that, I think it's M'Baku, he was going to actually take the mantle of the Black Panther because well, at least in the movie, they fight over the mantle of Black Panther. So he was going to take it. Then there was rumors that Michael B. Jordan was going to come back. And so then people were like, okay, that means he's going to be the Black Panther. So it's like all over the place. And that's kind of the problem with these rumors and spec. You don't really know for sure. I think it's going to be Shuri, to be honest. Michael B. Jordan's character is dead. So that would be really weird to bring him back. And he's probably coming back as like a flashback or something if he is in it. And, why would you put M'Baku as the Black Panther when people like Shuri? I think a lot of times these rumors are people get into this book, oh, Shuri. And then, it kind of settles down, not much going on. We have to wait for the movie. And then people are like, they're all excited. And so they get hyped. And I was like, well, I heard Michael B. Jordan. Oh my gosh. There's rumors coming down. Oh, I bet he's Black Panther. And then of course those rumor mills go everywhere. And then M'Baku, oh yeah. Someone's like, oh, that'd be pretty good. No one knows. Unless you work for the production company, you have no idea. I mean, even the people that are on set, sometimes they don't even know. Right? Sometimes they're filming stuff in secret. I mean, there's the famous part where Darth Vader, right? Spoiler alert. Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's dad. I could just imagine, hey, I haven't seen that movie yet. You spoiled it. Sorry. But anyways, so when George Lucas was writing that, in the script, it said, I believe it said, George Lucas said it was like, I knew your father or something, or I worked alongside your father or something like that, right? Like Obi-Wan never told you that me and your father are friends, to Luke Skywalker. It wasn't until they were filming that scene and only the two actors, Mark Hamill and, well, with David Prowse, I believe it was the actor playing Darth Vader, and then James Earl Jones did the voice. They found out day of shooting. That's it. And George Lucas had this hidden behind. So there's things like that still go on. People aren't allowed to talk about things. So I still think it's Shuri. I think that's the most logical choice. And usually that's, Occam's razor path of the easiest choice, or the most logical choice is the correct choice, or the easiest path is usually the correct path. I forget. Okay, just got done looking it up. Occam's razor means the simplest answer is usually the correct answer. So that's what I'm going with for Shuri. All right, now we got Young Avengers 10. A 9.4 back in July used to sell for $119, now sells for $40. That's down 66%. A 9.6 is down 60% from $225 back in March to $90. Wow. And then a 9.8 used to sell back in August for $460, now sells for $312, and that is down 32%. You look up here, you can kind of see where it's just going up. Yeah, there's a little uptick, but again, it's going down across the board. So a little uptick does not help it overall. Why is this one going down? Well, Kate Bishop was in the Hawkeye TV show. And these books were flying off shelf during that time. A lot of hype up to it. And then usually when the show comes out, things like this happen, there's no more hype. The show's over. Like, no one knows what's going to happen to the character. She may never show up again in any MCU anything. I mean, we can speculate that it could happen, but you never know, right? You have no idea until the show is actually out, filmed and everything like that, or if she's in a movie. You know, we can hope or think. But yeah, so this got really popular because Kate Bishop, she's on the cover in her costume, all that stuff, and the hype is dead. Feature of this book, right? I would not, I'd push this to the side. I would go, if you're going to go Kate Bishop, obviously you got to go Young Avengers 1, but even that's dropping too. So wait till Young Avengers drops a little more and then go on. All right. One last one, and this is going to be an update. I always like to do updates. This one is a very interesting update. I can't believe how much it's dropped. But yeah, but also, if you haven't subscribed already, think about subscribing. Helps out the channel. I would love it very much so. And let's get in this last one, which is an update. All right, we got Eternals, and that's kind of what almost kicked this thing off, that in Spider-Man 361. Let's see how good old Eternals is doing. All right, we got a 9.4 last month, and that's how I do these updates. I do the last full month's average. So December was the previous month's full month's average. Obviously, January was the last month, but before that. So average 202, and now currently average 253. So that's up 25%. Not bad. A 9.6 back in December, average 369. Now averages 355, only down 4%. Still not bad. But a 9.8 in December, average 1574. Now currently sells for 939 on average. That is down 40%. And if you look at this graph over here, you can see just a straight down. Now we're in the territory of where it's at the same point almost 2 years ago. I mean, how much lower can it go? Like, if you can see there, we got an initial little bump, right? And a kind of long bump over like 2 years. And then it's, the comic boom and everything shot straight up. It's all it's as fast as it went up, that's about as fast as it went down, and it could probably drop some more. Looking at these numbers, I'm still blown away. That is still dropping. Now, granted, that 9.8 that sold, that pretty much sucks. But that was like, 9.8s don't sell all the time, especially if it's not hot. That's another thing. It's like people can put it up on eBay. Oh, I want $2,000 for this book. It'll just sit there forever. So sometimes when a book isn't hot, they're not flying off the shelves, so you don't have that much sales data. And that's the thing with this one. It's like, this one was obviously an auction, right? Someone threw it in an auction, went for cheap. So I still think it's nearing the bottom. Like, I thought it was almost the bottom. But like I said, I think it's going to go like this, right? Don't ever bet on this book to be big again. No. Eternals is gone. It's done, right? It wasn't received very well. Box office numbers, it didn't do that well. I mean, we freaking have Spider-Man it's about to beat Avatar as the highest grossing movie, or one of the highest grossing movies in domestic box office, almost at like 800 million or some ridiculous number. That's just domestically. It's at $1.7 billion worldwide, and it didn't even have a Chinese release, which adds another 300 million. So Eternals is done. They're not, and I know Spider-Man is Sony, but I'm just showing you that Eternals did bad. Okay, have a great day.